So today is an interesting day. The day that Super Saiyan 3, the leader, is banned, at least temporarily. Originally, I was going to make a part 2 of Let's Talk About Super Saiyan 3. If you haven't checked that out, go look at it or go watch it. It was a very interestingly received video, but I still kind of stand by it, and this is the reason why. I mean, just to have a little bit of foresight, and if anything, this kind of threw a wrench into my plan to make a part 2 along with my video on limited versus banned versus errata, but it's okay. What I wanted to really talk about in this video though was talk about the few points of their thought and reasoning on why they did it, and why they did it this way, basically. My personal thoughts about it currently, and the effects of Super Saiyan, or wow, effects of Set 5 and why it's only temporary. So before I begin, I want you to do something for me. Pause this video. That's right, pause this video. Let me know in the comments below right now what you think. Give me what you got. I don't care if it's positive, I don't care if it's negative, I don't care anything, and I'll wait. Okay, cool. Good. Let's get into it. So this is what they said officially. Basically, they were saying thank you. They're very summarized there. This is a continuation of our last post in August 17th, or from August 17th, about Super Saiyan 3, and they linked it, which is funny because they put a picture. I don't know why they did that. So we said before, we've been seeing top decks, or decks of top players from national championships around North America, and just in general, we limited the flute to 1 and then decided to take Goku off the watch list. But even after limiting flute on September 21st, taking the current meta into consideration, which is interesting because they sound like someone who is playing the game, which is a first sometimes, but they've been, like I said, the communication and everything they're doing, so far so good. We still believe that Super Saiyan 3 Goku will continue to dominate the competitive scene. So because of that, he will be temporarily banned starting on September 28th, which is about a week from now, or a little over a week. Wow, that's big. That's what she said. And plan on banning the card from then until November 28th, and it will again be usable starting November 9th, which is just after Nationals, or just before Nationals starts, I believe. I'm gonna have to double check the dates, but as soon as it does come out for Set 5 and as well as Nationals, Super Saiyan 3 comes back. So I'll get into that and why that's kind of silly, but we'll talk through it. We in the Dragon Ball Super Card Game team wish to offer our sincerest apologies that we're unable to see this coming back on August 17th. So they're like, we're sorry, we didn't understand, we don't play the game, which is my understanding. And this is why we didn't really see it coming. We also owe our uttermost apologies to players participating in tournaments around the world, because the next one is going to be at Atlanta, which is, I think, in a couple weeks, if not a little bit less than that. I have to double check the dates for that as well. But we ask you for continued understanding as we work to improve the meta for the game going forward. So interesting. Got a good grip of comments here. A lot more on other places like Facebook, Reddit, etc., etc. Don't let them get to your head. But if anything, so after they realized that it was an issue, there's a couple of reasons why they believe they needed to ban. But without even looking at their statements, you can understand why this was kind of an issue just by looking at the last regional, one of the last regionals, ARG Dayton, that the top 8 of this regional was SS3. There was no other leader in this top 8. So if we look at it, it's blue-green SS3. We have Michael with the blue-red at 7th, and then we have another blue-red SS3 at the 7th or 6th, and then 5th is blue-red SS3. And then the 4th is blue-yellow, which is the 1-2 swap. The 3rd one is blue-red SS3. Hey, look at that. And then blue-yellow SS3. Wow. And then blue-green took it all, so that's interesting. My guess is because of surprisingly, oh okay, he cited in the King Vegeta surprise attack. That's actually pretty surprising, but still a very strong deck. Looks very consistent actually. And still even then, I will say this, let me get ratchet for a second. It isn't deck diversity if it is the same leader. Yeah, I don't care if you say, you know, stop whining or stop crying or whatever. The feedback that we give, and not only the feedback, but the results that we have, if you just take a look here, is just the best reason for us to have a little bit of changes and for Bandai to make changes in itself too. And I will say this is that the leader is a huge part in what you want to do in this game and what you can do. It's like putting a really good high horsepower engine like an LS1, a Mustang engine, or a Chevrolet engine anyway, into a Toyota Camry and saying it's still a Toyota Camry and there's nothing wrong with it. No. But then everybody and their mama realizes that this is good for everything, for every other car. So they start putting their LS1s in Altimas, in Honda Civics, and goddamn PT Cruisers. And then there's that one dude over there who modified their original Camry and their engine to go a little bit faster and trying to race these other dudes in a losing race. So that's kind of where we are as far as this goes. And I've said this before, that the Super Saiyan 3 leader kind of goes against everything it was designed in the game. He is very, very strong, but the real issue is that the original concept of ditching a card and being down on 1 life and getting to untapping 3 had a really, really terrible future proofing when going into these recent sets. And I think that's one of the reasons why Bandai kind of went to this decision. And after having access to being able to turn 1 Awaken with the recent sets, untapping with his ability, untapping with other things like the Trunks and Sensu Bean, and for those 2 cards it's kind of like a different understanding, and I'll get to that in a second. But knowing all of this, who could have guessed that Super Saiyan 3 would be banned someday, right? Right. Right. Anyway, I kind of said what I wanted to say as far as my opinion, but and why it's an issue. But the bottom line is that it's a good and it's a bad thing. The reason why it's a bad thing, well, the reason why it was banned for about a month and a half is that honestly, I don't think Bandai has enough organic testing or a big enough pool to see what happens next. But right now, they're trying to see within this time frame, which again, the next one is Atlanta. The one after that, I think, unless there's one in between, is Vegas, which is the one I'm going to. So now I have to deal with different things like the ones I'm going to be mentioning in a second. And they want to see what happens on an organic level. The other thing is that they're putting a lot of faith and a lot of like, what's the word? Well, I guess faith would probably be it on set 5, and again, we'll get to that later and I'll explain why. The reason why it's a good thing though is because of the reasons why I've already listed. The reason why it's a bad thing is now it may show what is else wrong with the game, and it's sort of a sink or swim point for all of us players and figure out what we want to do. So if we kind of take a look at the other leaders, there's a few different choices. So the first one is going to be Hirudegan, coming to mind as everybody's first pick anyway. He took back-to-back regionals, as I understand, and with Flute out of the way, he doesn't really go away, but he does take a little bit of a hit as far as consistency and making sure that he can consistently go through plays. But I don't think he takes too much of a hit. If not, he is still going to be tier 1, tier almost 0 when it comes to certain matchups. And if you need more proof of that, go check out 3xg's Pan versus blue yellow Hirudegan, and you'll see what I mean. He is still one of the best, if not the best leader out there because of his draws, because of his super combos, because of untapping 2 in correlation with all that he can do, and he has access to all of the blue options, including unyielding Trunks. Blue yellow and as well as blue red will probably still reign supreme. Combating these will probably be hard, but not impossible. The thing about the thing that it kind of went from Hirudegan to Super Saiyan 3 is that everything that Hirudegan did, Super Saiyan 3 can do better, if not a little bit different and more defensively. So with Hirudegan, you have to think about what your next turn is if you're allowing the next person to get another turn. If whatever you're going to be planning to survive whatever they're going to be doing next turn, that is. And Flying Nimbus helps a lot. Sensu Bean helps a lot. Even Crusher Ball helps a lot. I've been talking about that for a little bit, and it does help against a lot of different things, etc, etc. So like with Rutagon, you have to think about what kind of energy you have for next turn if you can't end it that turn that you're going against or going for. Super Saiyan 3, you don't really need to think about that. You just have to untap 3 and then just be ready for the next turn, just like that. And with Raging Spirit Gohan, which now has an answer, which is the 1-drop Mass Saiyan. The again, Sensu Bean, Unbreakable, and as well as other options, including the Bardock that free evolves, or 1-cost evolve, really. There's a lot of different options as far as that goes for Super Saiyan 3. But now we have to look towards Rutagon, and people need to understand how to manage their energy yet again, and how to end a turn without passing the turn. But with Flute, we'll see what happens. Oh, before I move on to Trunks, I will say for Unyielding, Sensu Bean, and Goten, as far as the problematic cards, which are the reason why a lot of people are running these kind of decks, I don't necessarily think Trunks is inherently a bad card. I've had this discussion a few times before, and yes, I think free energy is always an issue. That's, again, it goes against everything that is about the game, but it is one of the part of the blue archetype. So, you know, I'm very much in between. So like, if you take away Unyielding Spirit Trunks, then you don't really have an answer for aggro decks to answer against control decks and things like androids and stuff like that. So when you take away that, it really hurts it, and you don't really have it just doesn't really work out too well. So again, I'm in between. If I had to make a decision as far as Unyielding Spirit Trunks, is limiting into 2. And when you limit things of anything in this deck, especially Legendary Flute is a good example of that, is that you take away the consistency of a deck. And when you take away the consistency of a deck, it will not top consistently as far as like regionals and high stakes games. For like best of ones, doesn't really matter. You know, some people just don't expect different things, but the consistency of a deck is much more important when it comes to playing in a competitive scene, I think. With Sensu Bean, I don't think that's that big of a deal. It's a very strong card, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. You have to pay one for it. So I mean, when you pay for something, you don't get something for free. I'm okay with it. And then Goten, I think it's a very good card. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good card. It is really good in a lot of different decks. I just made the Broly deck with it. It's one of the reasons why it was really good and consistent. But I think it was a badly designed card in correlation with the 1-drop swaps. And as well as not being restricted to Goku lineage. I think if it was restricted to Goku lineage, it wouldn't see so much play, and a lot of these decks probably wouldn't be running around as far as blue-yellow. But then we have to deal with blue-red again. Going into Trunks is another viable option, because he puts a lot of pressure on pretty much not like really any other deck. Like when you really think about it, Rutagon is probably a close second or first. Beating him out, depending on how you operate with the deck, or how you operate the deck and what you can do. But I think Trunks will have a really good place in the meta, and as soon as someone tops with it, people will realize that as well. He can attack a lot with Overwhelm, free blockers, low cost drops, and more, and kind of go off and win consistently. So I think he's going to be a really good option. Androids, my babies, is and always will be a threat, but still will suffer from energy management. The kind of same thing kind of applies going from this meta to the next. As long as they get to 3 and Cell Chain, it's a more even game against meta decks. Like for these guys, as soon as they get more support, which I know Bandai is taking their time slowly but surely, trying to give more and more support. We got a little bit more support as far as the Ultimate Box. We got that Red 18. That's a 1-drop now on this deck, or this leader. And most likely we're going to see Super 17 in this upcoming set in Set 5. And hopefully that'll be something a little bit different and a little bit more support as far as these guys go. Now, as far as replacements for Super Saiyan 3, the best replacements for me is going to be Soul Striker and as well as Trunks, as far as a mono blue variant and just a simple like energy manipulation and everything else like that. Marcel Russell showed us that it's possible to beat the meta in topping a regional with Iron Val Trunks. I myself took Iron Val Trunks a little bit before, or a little bit after that, and made a couple deck profiles before. I went second 4-1 with my updated Boo deck. If you haven't checked out that deck profile, go check it out. He's good. But I personally believe, I'm not tooting my own horn, I think he does require a good pilot. Much like a lot of other decks that we haven't seen playing with, you know. And then Soul Striker is always going to be a good option for mono blue. Then we have other leaders that may come out the woodwork, such as where is he? Where is this man? Where is this man? We have the new Jackie Chan. I've been touting the horn of him more and more, and he's gonna make some people mad as far as this meta goes, but we'll see. We also have the other one, announcer. Him and the announcer are probably going to be the most impactful leaders when it comes to the meta. They both will have a good place slash effect on the meta, I would say. And then I think Hercule and as well as Green Goku are great. Oob is okay. Access to a lot of draw and as well as the blue options is good, but he is just, I don't know. I think more and more people are going to have to be testing him, and I'm going to have to be testing him. And then we have other ones going to be pushed into the meta. Like, I know this is going to sound weird, but we still have Golden Frieza. We still have Universe 7 Frieza. We still have Golden, or the Galactic Frieza, which interesting builds for these two, or this one, but these two are probably going to be having an interesting effect. We have the Mecha Frieza as well. Interesting choices as far as this man goes. We have Mass Saiyan, which again, more and more people hopefully will still be playing him, as he will still be getting support with all of the new black cards, and as well as just the new releases for everything. Like when you sit down and start playing him again, he's not a bad option for a lot of different matchups. He just can't keep up with a lot of different matchups in itself. He's still very effective though, still very effective. Speaking of, the crit Vegeta is still an option. Counters kind of kill this man, but he still has access to a lot of different things. Same thing for Universe 7 Gohan, a really good aggro leader. The new Gogeta that's coming out, it's going to be really good. I don't know if he's, oh yeah, he's here. This one is my favorite. Some people have been playing this guy. A lot of interesting builds I've seen out of him, but we'll see with the more and more cards coming out. The new Broly, yes, the new Broly, yes, the new Broly. This one, if you haven't seen him, I recently went 4-1 with him. He is damn good fun. I'll get a deck on that later. Then we have Kefla, Baby, Universe 7 Frieza, I already said that one. Both yellow GT Gokus, all of them are a bit more viable, and we'll see a little bit more play. But we all just have to take time and test and understand. But the first three, and as well as a couple other ones, will probably be some of the top leaders going forward. So finally, let me explain why they're waiting until set 5. So there's a few different reasons for it. One, again, is so they can understand on an organic basis of what they're going to be doing, or what's going to happen if SS3 was banned permanently, or just for this time. What does the meta look like before set 5? And the other thing is that set 5 gives answers to a lot of different things that we didn't have before, and including Shenron. So Shenron in itself, I will let you know right now, is that as soon as someone does get their hands or build a really good Shenron deck and it starts getting play, either in locals or regionals, it's gonna be very, very problematic for a lot of people who don't expect it. So I would definitely start playing testing him now. I'm gonna be doing that pretty soon after I get ready for the next regionals and understand what I want to play, and as well as get these other decks out. But right now, like I said, he's gonna be really good. Just let you know. So one of the reasons why, oh, why did I shake it? One of the reasons why is the effect that Goku, that it has against Goku. So The first thing is that understanding the card. So again, this leader can attack. He can take 2 Dragon Balls from his life, which is the first one they can choose first in their life, first leader that is, and then from his deck every turn through activate main. And once there are 7 in their Dragon Balls in the drop area, you get to choose 1 desire from your drop area and then add it to your hand and flip it over. So when he flips over, again, both sides can attack. You get to activate main and draw 1 card. You get to choose a desire with either with equal or less cost to your energy and activated skill or main skill. So you don't pay for that cost. As I understand, it is for free. So that's very important to remember. And then of course, remove 7 Dragon Balls from the drop area to the game, and then it gains 1 card gains 10k and triple attack for the duration of turn. So let's go through a few different things. The first thing is that yes, every single Dragon Ball card is a draw 1, 0 cost for Shenron. That's very important. You get draw power early, and as soon as you start searching these out, you get to play them, and then etc, etc. The reason why I like Dragon Radar instead, as I understand, let me just make sure. Okay, yeah. So this one, it searches the top 7, choose up to a total of 2 Dragon Ball cards or 2 Desire cards. It's a 1 cost black, so you can play whatever you want, and then choose. Okay, and then shuffle your deck, and then choose one of either one. Okay, wow. It is early in the morning. Okay. So you get to choose the top 7, 2 Dragon Balls or Desire cards, 2 Desire or Dragon Balls. So he has access to up to 8 as of right now. Or you can choose a total of 2 Dragon Balls or Desire cards from the drop area and add to your hand. Again, another important thing to remember. The reason why you play that instead of this one is that you get to add these into your hand. This one you get to drop into your drop area. So let's just blah. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. And then another thing is that Power Burst right now, if you loot a card that's black, which again, more black support, you then get the attack and you choose 1 black battle card from your drop area with the energy cost 1 and add to your hand. And again, you can if you have 5 or more in the drop area, you can activate the counter by taking life. So whatever. But very important for all the answer cards, including Dende, which is a direct counter to SS3, even more with this leader, and I'll explain in just a second. So let's go ahead and get this guy out as well because he is busted. Now let's get these 2 out just so I can actually explain why this set 5 is going to have a huge impact, or at least Shenron in itself is going to have a huge impact. So the thing is that let's say we do this. Okay, and that's his drop. Okay, listen, chill. Okay, that's how it goes. So you use the Dragon Radar, you use his ability, etc, etc. First 2 turns. First turn 1, you can probably get all Dragon Balls into your drop area if you do it right. If not, turn 2. You basically, in order to flip it over, when there's 7 Dragon Balls, you choose 1 Desire card and flip over. So you do that. Now he has access to everything here. The thing is that there's sort of a loop, if not infinite, energy destruction when it comes to Shenron as of right now. So the ruling, as I understand, is not out yet, but we'll get to that, and hopefully this is how it works. So for Dende first, okay, for Dende says it has a deflect and counterplay, so it can't be cold bloodlusted, which is not really a big deal against him. The activate main is that you pay 2 after paying 1 for Dende, if not 0 for any of these other cards. And then pay 2, place this card into the drop area. If your opponent placed the card in the energy using a skill during this game, you choose 1 of their energy and place it in the drop area. So it says during the game. So I want to be very, very clear about this, is that it's during the game. As I understand, if he flips over, oops, I keep doing that. If he flips over and then place 2 energy into his energy area after dropping 1, that is for the game. So that same thing applies to objection as well. So if they object or use Super Saiyan 3 effect, that is for the game. So now his effect will apply every single time. So as long as you pay this 2 energy and drop him, it's gonna happen every single time. So what happens is that you drop 1, he gets to drop 1 into the drop area. And then next, you can activate main and choose 1 desire card, and then activate its skill for free, basically. The desire card is probably going to be Child's Wish. And if you play Child's Wish for that, and then get the Dende back, you get to use Shenron out here after you get 4 energy, and then you get to choose 2 of your energy and switch it to active mode after you draw 1 card. Or you get to choose 1 battle card with energy cost 2 or less and drop and play it. So either one of these is for free, or for this one, or for whatever. And you can keep doing this as long as you have that energy. So again, you can kind of see the concept of where I'm going with this, is that if you play this, you play him, you pay 2 energy after you untap 2, and then now your other energy is gone. And what happens is that Super Saiyan 3 can't come back from that. Really just can't come back from it. So the Super Saiyan 3 player will charge 1 again after, or not charge, which is going to be silly, over and over until you keep attacking with your different battle cards, and do it that way. The only coming back from this is that if you get rid of him, for some I don't know, I don't honestly I don't know. I mean, this really, the only thing I can really think of is get rid of him, or the option is very obvious, is going to be not using the flip side to the leader. So that sets you back already as far as this stuff goes, and that puts you on a level playing field for aiding deck, really. So as long as if you don't use the skill, which is probably the intention of just like Cronoa and Shigesh, just like Dende and Super Saiyan 3, if you don't use it, then Dende is not going to come out. He's not going to be used. But if you do use it, Dende is going to be getting that ass when it comes down to it. And I think that's what Bandai is thinking. So again, World's Peace does the same thing, just equal or less energy. And then Child's Wish, this one gets it back, etc., etc. You kind of get the idea and the concept of where I'm going with it. If you haven't play tested it on Untap, Octagon, wherever you want to be at with the black cards and Shenron, go test it, try it out, and then come back to me, right? And the other thing is that again, you don't need to use the activate main effect. You still have access to 8 life. It just sets you back a little bit, and you have to deal with whatever is going to be triple attacking, triple 10k, whatever is going to be coming out, and that's really the only downside to it. Other than that, you just charge energy as normal. You take the life whenever you need to, and that's pretty much it. So let me know what you think. That is it for me. I hope to see a lot of comments, dislikes, likes, and hopefully subscribes if you are new. And just remember, we make the meta. Bandai just needs to help out a little bit. Later.